Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to the 3 of 7 podcast. What did you guys decide to title the live stream?
Evils Abound.
Evil Abounds? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, Corn said evils abound, but that's grammatically incorrect, so I had to make sense.
Okay.
Grammatically.
Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. We're going to get into the conversation about what all's going on, with brother in Christ Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, and now that we're a few days or week or so removed from it, everybody's emotions have calmed down at least a little bit. And also all the crazies have come out of the woodworks to give their opinions on what's going on what all went on with that. So we're going to get into that today. I'm looking forward to hearing from Cornbread and Blake and Chili, and it's something that ought to be talked about. It's something that I hope is not brushed aside and forgotten so quickly as many things are just brushed aside and forgotten. The attention span and memory of the human is extremely short. We forget about everything and we just carry on with our lives. That tends to be we don't learn lessons that last about anything. We just move on from it once our emotions calm down. Kind of what happened in after the scamdemic in 2020 and all that. Nobody even remembers any of that anymore.
You remember that time?
It's like a whole nother time.
You remember that time the Israelites were enslaved and they no longer than however many days they'd been freed, they say, just send us back to be enslaved by the Egyptians.
Moses was up on Mount Sinai and they were down at the bottom of the hill making an idol.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Worshiping it.
It's been going on a long time, and it will continue.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by our very good partner and long-term partner, Barbell Apparel. We were running this morning. I had my ultra shorts on. I had my Take Quitting Off the Table shirt on. Look, they got it all. If you need some apparel, whether it's for running, for the gym, or just for everyday wear, they have a good lineup on their website, barbellapparel.com. They're awesome people. They have supported us here at 3 of 7 Project for a long time. That means something to us. We hope it means something to you guys. The way that all this is able to keep going on is we have to have partners that support us. So we have our partners like Barbell, we have our Patreon members, and we have all you guys that over the years have come out to train with us at a ROP course, a Proving Grounds, a basic course, whatever course you've done with us. So if you've done any of those things, I want you to know that you're a huge piece of what allows us to get on here week after week and have the conversations that we have. Whether it's on these Wednesday shows or on Monday meetings, it only happens with the combined effort and support of all of you guys out there who listen week after week. So one way that you can support us, one of the ways is to, next time you need a pair of gym shorts or a pair of blue jeans or something like that, check out barbellapparel.com, and they stand behind their product and know that you are placing an order and spending your money with a business that has good people behind it, and we just appreciate their support. The other announcement that we have this morning is the Mountain Mama Farms 4 and 8 hour race that is coming up next month. Time is getting short on that. That's a big day. It's a race that we put on, 3 of 7 Project puts on in partnership with Mountain Mama Farms, which is a friend of ours who owns a private farm in Chattooga County. It's way out in the country. It's really cool hosting a race on a private farm because it gives us a lot of leeway to do the things that everybody enjoys. stuff for the kids, stuff for community. Obviously, an awesome, unique place to run that, you can't just go out there and run anytime. She opens the farm up to us and allows us to host. We're going to have Big Steve on the microphone. That's always a good thing. In between laps, you can listen to the announcements that Steve makes. And obviously, amazing people always show up to these races. So if you're looking for an opportunity for fellowship, for community, for an opportunity to push yourself, to get out and run, and maybe set some new goals or PRs for yourself, that's a great place to do it. It's a nice flat course. You can get a lot of miles in out there in 4 or 8 hours. So you can sign up for that on Ultra Sign Up. And Blake, if you don't mind, when you post this, just put a link to the Ultra Sign Up page where listeners can register if they want to in the description of this episode, both on YouTube and on the audio platform. So that's Mountain Mama Farms. That's coming up quick, man. That's a big day, And we also have the Ruck Challenge. The top 5 will be coming out, so we'll have that going on right alongside you runners. The Ruck Championship's going to be going out there, the top 5 from the challenge, which we've been behind on. Give us an update on who has been crushing in the Ruck Challenge, and I imagine we're getting close to being able to determine who the top 5 are going to be.
Well, I expected that they would be, somebody that was just had so many points by now that they could probably slack off, but that really ain't the case the way the point system is lined up. If you don't stay busy, you ain't going to keep your spot. But we're in week 7 right now. This week is fastest 4-mile, 50-pound ruck.
That'd be rough.
When we last left off, we was in the middle of the fastest 3-mile, 60-pound ruck, and Blake Alvey won that with a 7:11 pace.
For 3 miles?
Yeah. With 60
You know what he
pounds.
did? You know what that joker did?
What?
Ran off the top of House of Dreams.
Well, that's even harder on you.
Yeah, but you get down, you get
You
gravity.
got momentum.
You get gravity.
That's strategy.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, why would you run it anywhere else?
That's fast with 60 pounds.
It's
Yeah, that's
real fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to blow your quads up.
It's
but
real fast.
Yeah.
Good night.
I have trouble keeping a 7-minute pace coming down that thing slick.
Who got second?
That was Tom Brandon who got second at 8:42 pace that week.
Short legs.
Yeah, last
On
week
the flats.
was most distance in a week for 20 pounds, and Tom won it with 200.8 miles.
Golly, again.
That's just unbelievable, man. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this is a challenge that we put on for the community, the 307 Project community. It was a limited sign-up. How many people?
24 people.
It was limited to 24 people, and each week a new challenge comes out, and it's all based around rucking. And so then they go and they execute on whatever the challenge is, and they're all competing amongst each other, and all this stuff is posted week by week, so we keep up with who's in the lead and who's doing what.
Yeah. So just real quick, the top 5 in the current standings is Tom Brandon with 57 points. Blake Alvey is number 2 with 50 points. Jacob Thomas is number 3 with 39 points. Tucker Perkison, what was he, Rop 12? Yeah, Rop 12 with 28 points. Brandon Rager with 24 points.
Wow, so Tucker's leading Brandon Ranger.
Yeah, currently.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Tucker's got some grit, man.
So what is the maximum possible points that one could have right now? 60? If you've won every challenge, you'd have 60?
Yeah. If
And
you,
Tom's got 57?
57.
Golly.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Where-
Super consistent, man. Like that's what people don't get too. Is it's one thing to win one challenge, but to a 10-week challenge like this with no rest weeks, it is really hard to be consistently placing in the top
Yeah.
3. And Tom's been there every single time.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive.
You can tell the fatigue has definitely set in because there's even a few people now that haven't accepted the invite for the current week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
He said they're going to take off this
So
week.
there are some that are crushing and there's some that are being crushed.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Who's last?
Well, last this week for the people who have done it is James Scoggins. With
Oh,
a-
come on,
Oh,
man.
James.
with 15:43 pace. But look, when James
he's
does it, he's training for this elk hunt. He does not waver from elevation.
Yeah.
Okay.
He does not waver. He don't go to the track. He don't make sure he's running downhill. He stays in those mountains.
And
up
he
there.
was the first one to do it.
Yeah, in Walker County, he stays up there and sticks to, hey, I'm training for this elk hunt. He's using this to train for
Yeah,
the
he
elk
is
hunt.
not last, by the way. He's probably like 12th.
Cass Daddy is currently number 1.
Whoa.
For this week.
Yeah, with a 9:26 pace.
Cass is a strong guy. James Scoggins is a strong guy. There's a
sure is.
there's a lot of strong men competing in this for sure.
I'm shooting for I want Cass to be in the top 5.
Yeah, me and Cass every week are here recently have swapped back and forth, and he just can't. He gets the Reaper in the speed weeks pretty easy, but on the distance weeks, he just
Well, soon
he
we
ain't got it.
Soon we have coming up the 18 miler, right?
Yeah, that's
Chad
next week.
special.
So that is a challenge that I added to this lineup right here. That's the one that I added because we had to do an 18-mile ruck and SEAL qualification training out in Nyland during land warfare. And I just remember how brutal it was. It was ruck. I forget the weight. It was 55 pounds maybe in the ruck, 45 or 55 pounds. But we had I carried a AW automatic weapon, and so it was heavy. But I remember it collapsed the arches in my feet back then. We were doing it in sand. It's real sandy out there. It's desert. Nyland's desert.
Right.
But I just remember how brutal that was. So I'm looking forward to the guys getting to experience that 18-mile ruck. Push it, man. Get after it.
Yeah,
I know they will. They've been doing it now for quite a while. These guys have put a lot of work into this, and I hope this is something that we do continue for the community at least a few times a year, putting stuff like this together, because it's been unbelievable to see the numbers that these guys are putting down.
yeah, they've been crushing it for sure.
Outstanding. So that's Mount Mama Farms. That's the only announcements that I have today. Corn, I'm going to let you lead us off in the talk today about just, your perspective on the assassination of Charlie Kirk and how it's affected you, and what are your thoughts on it? I haven't got to hear from you really at all on where you're at.
Well, when just to start off, the day of, and I still think about it pretty much every day. Me and Chili was actually together. I'd received numerous texts that he had been shot. Blake was even one that had said he'd been shot in the neck. And me and Chili was conversating about it as we was working in the dungeon. And then I got a text message from my nephew. And I said, well, dang, there's a video of it. And I expected, and this could get into a conversation about desensitization or whatever you want to do it. I expected to open that video and see something similar to what had happened to Trump. That you couldn't really tell what went on. There was a mad rush that, that happened and so on and so forth, because at that time it was still, the reports were he was shot in the neck, and that not that he was deceased. And I think Chili was sort of standing over my shoulder, and this was a close-up video. And I popped that video open, and right when I seen it, I was like, holy smokes. Like, I hated that I seen it. And my nephew that sent it ticked me off that he didn't say, hey, you may or may not want to watch this. It's pretty gruesome. You know what I mean? You don't send somebody a text message like that and not give somebody a heads up. Yeah. So just in seeing that video itself, and me knowing from seeing that video, there was no way he survived that. It made the whole thing just really horrific that day. And I talked with my wife a good bit about it that evening, and we was sitting there, and And, the news was on, and I just said, man, I just got to go get out of the house, just be by myself for a minute.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and talk about that, because it's something that I think maybe I know I've considered is you think about the people who post those types of videos on the internet, and what they're doing is they're just chasing clout, right? They're just chasing views. It is my opinion that if you had images of somebody like that going through this moment of horrific death and assassination, that it is very disrespectful to post those images on the internet, but nobody cares anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's how reprobate people are.
Yeah.
It is that you know what it boils down to? It boils down to the absolute fact that we are so reprobate that we have no respect for human life. Okay, we no longer have any even understanding of the biblical foundation that mankind, every human being, is the imager of God. Right? We were created uniquely as human to image God to the rest of the creation, so that when the rest of the creation looks at human, they see us as the image of the Father. That's how He created us uniquely. But we have zero respect for human life. We're reprobate. We no longer even consider that. And anybody who would post images like that on public platforms ought to be hauled out into the public square and caned. You ought to be caned for that. I mean, I'm dead serious. You ought to be caned. Okay? But here's the caveat to everything that I just said, my condemnation of people posting those videos. When people... The fact that people saw that is what made this event blow off the daggone rails as it has. The fact that people saw that is what provoked so much emotion in people to now cause them to begin to actually move and take action. At least right now in the short term, people are considering, what is it I believe? What is this battle between good and evil? All of a sudden it's real when they witness an image like this instead of just hearing a story or seeing a far back. What do you think death and when you shoot someone, people have no concept of what that looks like? It's nasty. Every single time. It is nasty. And people don't even know. They have no when you hear about someone being killed, well, you just think, okay, well, they're gone. You don't know how nasty it is to take another human being's life, okay? I mean, it's ugly. And so if you could possibly make a case that there was anything good, that those images were posted on a public platform, it is to show you first world person who's lived in a freaking office your whole life and never had to witness any sort of violence or death or any of that. It is to show you how horrific it is when a human being decides to kill another human being. And all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, this is wrong. Yeah, no crap, it's wrong. You idiot. Yeah, no crap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I agree. But, I'm not saying that it was right to post those images, but I'm saying since they were posted, and whoever posted them ought to be caned, since they were posted, the only good you can see out of it is to say, yeah, this is what it looks like. So next time you hear about somebody getting murdered or killed or assassinated or something like that, now you have a little more context on the violence of that situation. And maybe it'll make you start taking that a little more seriously. Maybe you won't just think of everything in context of the stinking video games that you play. Which, by the way, if you play video games, you are a degenerate turd. Get off your stinking video games. You got other things to do with your life than play video games. You're a degenerate turd. That's what I got to say about those images. What do y'all have to add about those videos? I grew up around violence, killing. My whole job was to figure out how to kill people. Okay, I understand that. I don't want to kill nobody. You know the reason I don't want to ever have to even think about killing anybody? Because I understand how ugly it is.
Yeah.
You know, you want to, people throw around these flippant terms. So-and-so ought to be killed. So-and-so ought to die. So-and-so ought to do this or that or this or that. It's because you have no earthly idea of the amount of violence involved in that.
I mean, when I was going through police academy, they made us sit and watch these videos of these people cutting other people with chainsaws and machetes. And they wanted you to know, like, this is what the people you're dealing with could be capable of. So take it seriously.
They did the same thing in SEAL training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough to sit and watch that.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
Yeah. That's pure evil to be up. It's hard to go cut an animal's throat. You know?
When you know you're
Or
doing it to harvest this to animal to eat.
Yeah, even
and
for
feed,
good.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
It's hard to kill an animal. To see it sit there and suffer, you know, the process of it dying, like, it's hard to watch and hard to do. And then you're doing it, like, I don't feel bad about it, but there's something inside of you that's like, that's kind of rough, you know?
Right.
Yeah, because it ought not. That's not part of the created design. Yeah. Is even for a human to kill an animal is not part of the original created design.
Yeah.
When Adam and Eve fell, the Father had to make coverings for Adam and Eve because they were all of a sudden ashamed of their nakedness. What did he have to do? He had to kill animals in order to cover them. Oh, that's pointing you to Christ, right? Right off the rip. That's when death entered and killing these things entered the whole darn thing. It's not even part of how it was supposed to be created. But when you're killing a human, every human is created in the likeness and image of God. That's what makes it different. You're killing an imager of the Creator.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about this, Chill?
Well, that's a broad question.
I mean, I'm talking about the images on social media and stuff like that. I mean, right, wrong, do you kind of fall the same place I do? Is there anything that I said that you would disagree with? Or
I think, I don't know, it's hard to pinpoint why exactly this has struck so many people differently. You know, and you said it's more, you know, even the action that's been done after is more because of the video that was seen. And I would
not completely because.
I would probably lean more towards that it was Charlie Kirk. You know, in the same week there was those images, obviously not as graphic, I suppose, as the Charlie Kirk shooting, but of the woman being stabbed.
Yeah.
You know, there was video of that and the look of horror on her face, and that alone didn't have the response that this did. I think it takes somebody like Charlie, who was so beloved and hated, so polarizing, to that is what the real reaction was.
And the circumstance.
Yeah,
you're getting to something.
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
I agree. The lady on the train, horrific, terrible.
Yeah.
That was murder. Okay? The assassination of someone who is trying to have a conversation around important topics, and the assassination of that person 100% because of their beliefs, and they're not trying to be violent toward anybody. They're just trying to have a conversation. The circumstance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something to be learned about parasocial relationships from his assassination. I mean, I really do. Charlie Kirk had 5 million followers, and I mean, Lord knows how many he had across all platforms, and the sheer size and prominence of Turning Point, a huge nonprofit. I mean, the leading nonprofit in that space, and so many people, you know, nobody had a parasocial relationship with that lady on the train or another example like it. They don't know her. You're sad about it. You're mad for a little while, horrified by it because she's a human being, but you don't feel like you know her. It's a stranger. It's a story, like you said. People, if you ask, you know, about their opinion of Charlie Kirk, they're like, I love that dude. And it's like, well, that's good. I mean, I think we should love people, but like you're saying you love him like he's your son or your brother and like you know him. You know, like we talk about these people that we only know on the internet. I mean, I love Charlie Kirk too. I love the lady on the train, but I don't feel like I know Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't feel like I know anybody that I haven't met, but I think we're seeing social media take over in a way that we form these bonds or false bonds with these people that we've never even met, but because we have seen so much of them talking on the internet and they have revealed so much of themselves to the public. It's not a two-way relationship, right? It's all one way, but we get that input, and then because he was such a big figure, I think all of these people you're seeing, even that weren't super fans of him, were like, dang, that is like my brother that just got killed. And they want to take up arms for, you know, not even just that he was, like we all should, value him as a human being, but it was like, whoa, that is a really good guy that was like my brother that just got assassinated. Like I have to defend that. I mean, I think that played into it too. And I'm not saying that reaction is wrong. I'm just saying it's so interesting, the case study in social media, parasocial relationships, and the reaction that it causes. I mean, the powers that be understand that they can wield that. And I'm not speaking on anything. I'm not trying to bring up a point about who killed Charlie Kirk. I'm just saying that can be weaponized against the public, knowing that you can target specific social media figures because of the response that it will cause the public to undergo. I mean, you can dramatically shape the way a huge percentage of the population will react by something happening to one person that they all look to. Yeah. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's just a fascinating psychological thing that is different now than any other time. Because Charlie Kirk isn't a politician. I mean, I think he may have had aspirations to be, and he was certainly in that world, but he was ultimately his title was a
private citizen.
Nonprofit. He ran a nonprofit. You know what I mean? He had a huge social media platform, and like it stirred this reaction that's just, I think, crazy from that perspective. And again, I'm not speaking on that it's wrong, but I just think the reaction has more to do with that than it even does the video. I think the video was an aid in that, to just enhance the emotion because of the visual and people aren't, like you said, people aren't used to that. I mean, a large percentage of the population has seen, speaking of the desensitization that Korn talked about, is like, you can go look at those videos they showed you in the police department and the Navy. You can go on Live Leak. You can go on it ain't that hard. You can just sit there in your home and look on the computer and watch as far as I know, it's the worst that I can't conceive of much worse than what you can watch. I mean, that's available to people. I don't think your average person walking around probably studies that all day, but like it's there. People do. People share it. People see it. It gets out. People see, some people unintentionally see it. Like it's so strange to live in a world where that's possible. Where at the drop of a hat in the next 30 seconds, I could pull up some of the most horrific crap you've ever seen. That's odd.
That is odd.
That's odd. And I think it hasn't lost its pungence to the average American yet. because, as you saw, the reaction that was to Charlie Kirk's, but I do believe it will. And I believe that seeing this video, as many people saw this video, is a step in that direction to desensitize people to it. Mm-hmm. And man, the first comments on any of the videos were, "Is this AI? Yeah. Is this AI?" I mean, we've only been living in a world where for the 2 years now, in all of human history, that could even be a comment. Yeah. And now it is a comment. That when you see something like that was clearly real, if you, understand what you're looking at, but you're like, this can't even be, this is AI. I don't know where to take that conversation, but that's crazy that we're entering a world where you will not know the difference. Mm-hmm. And even if you can clearly tell the difference, it's confusing to people. So that's about all I got to say about the video. I mean, I think people need to really consider. I think it's awful and disrespectful to post that on social media, and you devalue his life.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. It's like the guy that jumped up and was celebrating him. Had the long curly hair. Like right after it happened, he was caught on celebrating it. When you can celebrate somebody's death.
Well, he's come out now saying that he was trying to actually just cause a diversion.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Willie Nelson banned him from all his concerts because he had a Willie shirt on. But when you get to the point you can, celebrate something like that, or even now people are celebrating it after the fact.
Yeah. But even just like if you didn't share it on social media, but you text it to a group text like that. I mean, I would really ask yourself why you did that. Like, why the need to share that?
Yeah.
Even not on social media, but just like, because you weren't trying to get clout. You just sent it to whoever. But that's why share the video.
There's something off.
Yeah, like
in your mind.
Like, why did you do that?
Yeah, you should ask yourself. You're exactly right. That's pointing that there is something wrong with your mind. And you need to sort that out. You need to seek some help and sort that out.
I mean, I understand weird reactions to it because, like, we were standing in the dungeon, and the first time I heard about it is like you almost. This sounds so bad, but like you almost laugh in a way. Like you don't laugh, but you're like you read it on your phone. You're like, Charlie Kirk got us out. You're like, huh, what? I mean, like. You have these weird, it's like you don't even know how to process it. I remember a long time ago when I was in high school, I heard that I was a freshman in high school, and a guy that was a senior got in a car wreck and died at my school, and his sister was in my class. And I was walking into a high school basketball game, about to play, whenever I heard the news of that. And I mean, I remember like them telling me, "Oh my gosh, Tony just died," and I was just like, "Haha, what?" Like I remember like I almost laughed at hearing the news, and it like freaked me out that it bugged me. But I had to realize that like I wasn't. It's like I don't even know how to explain that, but you don't know what to even do in the moment. Like you're not. I didn't think it was funny. You know what I'm saying? But it feels awful to even do that. So, like, do you understand the point I'm trying to make?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, you have weird reactions to things that are like this. And I get that. And I think there needs to be some, like, understanding to people processing something differently than you, or in a weird way, or in a way that seems bad, or, you know what I mean? But, like, yeah, the videos getting sent around just bugged me. It's like, why are you doing that? Does that make sense?
It makes total sense to me, because there is nothing in me that would have seen that video and then copied the link to that video and sent it to anyone. Yeah. There's literally nothing in me, not a single thing that action would have crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes total sense to me.
And I hope you understand what I'm trying to say about, like, I'm not laughing at that. It's just like there's a 2-second period where it's like you don't think it's real. Yeah. And then you like go, huh, this is okay, I like your mind. It like literally takes me that long to recognize. Okay, this is like your mind has to process it. It's very strange.
Well,
so,
I
just bring that up to get like you do weird things sometimes that you don't even understand involuntary. But
and I think that's probably. I'm sure that there are people that can relate to you on that, Chili. That's not something that I can relate to.
right.
But, everybody is going to react a little bit different to trauma and to something like death, especially, or assassination, especially. So, yeah, I think there's definitely people out there that can relate to you on that type of reaction. But, I want to hear you guys' opinions or whatever on why did this even happen? Have you thought about that? Like get down to the root of why this even happened? Got any comments on that?
Well, just straightforward, we know that evil's out there. And anyone that would kill anyone like that's got some evil going on. But if you want to talk specifically about the person who did it, I don't know many details on them. From what I understand, he had some type of disdain against Charlie Kirk, particularly because he went off to college and became more cooperative or more likely to be involved with the trans community and disagreed with what Charlie had to say. And if you listen to any of the news reports, that was supposed to be, or supposedly something that had happened recently, that his parents have been saying he had recently become.
By the way, we will not mention his name on this podcast.
More left. That's what you keep hearing. He had become more left. And that's in comparison to his family saying that, who I assume the reason they say that is because they are more right. And he was dating and living with a male that's in the process of becoming a woman, so they say. And
a mentally ill person.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he had something against Charlie Kirk that evidently he thought was against his lifestyle and was going to hurt him and or his gay counterpart, however you call it, and that's
sodomite.
That's why he decided to do it. He was ate up with evil.
You know what else is weird about about Instagram and social media is that you can have these beliefs, and then you can have someone constantly on the video coming against your beliefs.
Yeah.
And that guy he knows he's putting the information out, but he don't know who's hearing it. He don't know how they feel about it, and it don't really matter. But so much hate and bitterness can build up in this one person because he watched this video, and then it's recommended more. And every time he looks, he sees Charlie Kirk coming at him, and all this is pent up, and he just lets it go. Whereas if we didn't have all that, and I saw you on the street and you disagree with me, before all of that bitterness and hate built up, I'd be like, no, this is what I think, and you'd tell me what you thought, and we'd probably leave there disagreeing, go about our ways, and probably never see each other again or never talk about it again. But now we have this ability for all of that.
We have the ability to depart from reality.
Yeah.
That's what we have the ability to do.
Yeah,
with social media, we have the ability to depart from reality and live in a false reality that is what you see portrayed on social media.
Yeah.
That becomes the world that you're living in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You don't really have a problem with this guy because he doesn't know you have the problem. You just are getting all of this information, and you're mad every time you see it. It's like if you saw someone on the street every day and they singled you out and said, "Chili, I don't believe like you believe." And the next day, before long, Chili's gonna be like, "I'm sick of that guy telling me that every single day I come down the road." But now we can have that in whatever capacity we want off of social media.
Well, how about the stinking scum of the earth, dregs, just reprobate politicians who are calling people Hitler, who are calling people all of this, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, if you are calling out another person who simply has a different belief system than you, if you're going to reference them and call them Hitler, like you think that that's not also playing into these young people's minds?
Absolutely.
Like, but they're not. They can just say whatever they want, man, to stir up the emotions of people, and especially young people. Like they are partly at fault.
Yeah, I totally.
I mean, to a small part.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Now, if you want to call somebody that, you got the freedom to call somebody that. I'm just telling you, like, there is blood on your hands on account of that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they are a big part of why anything becomes as big as it is, because they're willing to put it out and say it, and they manipulate that in whatever way and guide people's thoughts. Yeah, I think they're big.
I think Chili said it for years. Even just the desire to be in politics is an indicator that you just...
It's an instant disqualifier.
Yeah, it's just an instant disqualifier. Yeah. It really is, man. I don't know that any of these politicians can be trusted for anything at all.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my take. And again, this is a broad conversation when we talk about, well, why did this happen? Man, you can go 100 different ways on this. So we're just talking about the parts that maybe have hit us, right? We obviously can't cover the whole spectrum of what was going on with this guy. What did he believe? What do all these people believe? All this stuff. I mean, Chili probably knows more about that than I do. But looking at it from the part that has hit me, and again, it comes, last week I told you guys my grandmother told me that, oh, you're going to have to stop speaking now. Okay? This happened. This happened in part because these people who are indeed mentally ill, they want you to know, if you continue to stand up for biblical morals and for foundational principles of freedom that this country has stood for since the beginning, they want you to know that if you continue to stand up for those things, they will kill you. That's what they want you to think. That's how that I'm not saying this is the overarching reason, but I'm telling you right now, that's the effect that it had on my grandmother. Well, we better shut our mouths. We people who are Christian, who believe that the Bible is the standard for morality and for how we should live our lives and conduct ourselves both as individuals and as a people, we better shut our mouths, because if we keep talking about this stuff, these people are going to kill us.
Yeah.
That's the effect it had on her. I have watched and paid attention to who has made public comments on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I've paid attention. And I have some very people who are close to me who have very large audiences who ain't said a word about this. Something that impacted this nation to this level, and they ain't said a word. They'll say all kinds of stuff about all kinds of other things. They haven't said a word about this. Crickets. Now, they're not obligated to. They can do what they want. It's their platform. But I'm afraid that the reason some of these people whom I know have not said a word about these things is because of the point that I'm making right now. They are afraid, and they think that if I comment on this, it is putting my life in danger. They have succumbed to the goals that are being accomplished by the evil forces in this world. It is indeed a direct attack on our confidence in our God-given right to have freedom of speech. Whether it was meant for that or not, that's what it's become.
Well, those people just want to have a good life and get on with things. They don't want there to be turmoil. They don't want to have confrontation. They want to be, the best word is inclusive. They want to include everybody. And you want to talk about why this happened? Well, one, it's because the gospel is offensive. I don't think that Charlie Kirk was out intending to go out and offend people. He just presented what he believed, and the gospel will offend people because it stands on truth. It doesn't waver. It says what it says, and it excludes some people, lots of people.
But by the way, it doesn't say that you don't have the right to live.
No.
I mean,
but it has
even Jesus Christ was praying for the people who were crucifying him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, this is the difference between right and wrong. You people are committing the most heinous act on earth by crucifying God in flesh. Yet I am going to pray for you. It doesn't say that. It does. It divides. But there's never a condemnation from Christ saying that these people don't have the right to live.
No, it's offensive to your sinful nature.
Yeah.
And you getting mad and angry when somebody is sharing the truth in the gospel and it goes against what you think is the truth in the gospel, and you say, oh, that is offensive to me that you would say that. To the point of, and then evil begins to take that and manipulate it in your mind.
Yeah.
Chill, man. Turn it over to you for some coherent thoughts.
Well, I can't even articulate the struggle that I'm having, so that's one thing. I was talking with Corn about it. For some reason, it has struck me different this time. All of the theories that immediately pop up.
Oh, yeah, all the Instagram investigators?
Yes.
Yeah.
That have zero information and have zero knowledge of the facts and have no idea what they're talking about, but they heard something one time about the guy and said, well, it must be this, and it must be this person that was behind it, and it's this grand thing.
Or they want views.
Yeah. I mean, and I have done that. I might even be a big offender of that very thing. I would say I am. So I think part of it is just something about this situation has made me not want to do that, and just finding it disrespectful. But the core of what they're doing, or what trying to find the truth about the broad question of why did this happen, does take some investigation, right? I mean, if you actually wanted to get the truth behind exactly why this happened from every angle. And I think that is important because me and Corn talked about it. If nobody ever tried to find the truth about something or what was really going on, or, I mean, take the Trump assassination, for example. What the crap was that? Like, we don't know the truth behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
What about all the grand things that we've talked about in the past? You know, people will speak freely about their theories about 9/11, including myself. But it just in some ways almost feels wrong to do that right now, talking about Charlie Kirk's death. But then I struggle with it because I go, well, what if nobody ever talked about the truth behind anything? What if everything just happened in life and you just let it go and said, you know what? We're going to hear what the media has to say about it, and that's just it. And we're not going to consider anything, and we're not going to look at anything, and we're not going to – I'm not even talking about investigation. I'm just saying the deeper meaning, why did Charlie Kirk die? Like, why did he – the broad spectrum of looking into that.
It's an important question.
I mean, it is an important question. I mean, does
But I think if you're going to take it upon yourself to conduct that investigation, you should actually take some time, do it respectfully, and have some legitimate information to pass.
I agree.
Instead of the next day or 2 days later coming out with something that you had that you thought up in your head that night about what it could have been. You see the difference I'm saying, Chili?
Yeah, man. And like I said, I have done that. I mean, whenever you speak about, okay, this may not be as it seems or as the official story is saying, like, you got to have as hard of facts as you can possibly have. No theory. I mean, when something happens and your initial light bulb goes off like, this seemed odd, that's fine. But you might want to watch yourself spouting off at the mouth immediately after that happens just because you had an intuition that something fishy went on.
And that's not even about intuition. That is about these social media influencers who have sold their literal soul for clicks and likes. That's what that's about.
Yeah. So, I mean, I struggle with it because, I have an inclination to do that just about everything if I think there's something going, or I want to know the truth out of things. And I will say, I do not think that when you turn on Fox News and when you turn on CNN or MS, you are getting if you're going to those sources to try to hear why did Charlie Kirk really die, you're not getting it. I also would say when you go to Instagram or this talking head that you've heard that's got some bombshell smoking gun evidence that they saw on a Reddit thread,
Yeah.
you're not getting the truth. Now,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean, I don't even know if I want to get into even
I was going to say, I heard Tucker Carlson say that the news, their goal is to protect the politician,
Yep.
whichever one they're supporting.
Yep.
And the journalist's goal is to challenge that.
Yep.
And so we must take all of this. I mean, that's the only evidence
Yeah,
we're going to get.
exactly.
We're not investigating fingerprints. We're not the one there doing it that actually knows the truth.
Yeah.
But we can look at those two things and say, all right, well, what is likely to have been as close to the truth as I could? You can't just listen to one or the other.
Well, I mean, I will say this, I am never going to let, like, we don't have as near big of a platform as Charlie Kirk or whoever, and especially me just sitting here talking about this, like, it doesn't have the far-reaching effects that would, some people think when they talk about certain untouchable topics that it threatens their life. Well, I don't freaking care if it does. Like, if there's something that needs to be said, the truth about something, I'll freaking say it. And, a lot of people right now, they think there are certain topics that will get people like Charlie Kirk killed, right? Like if he's going to talk about Israel, or if you're going to criticize certain factions of the government, or if you're going to criticize intelligence agencies. I mean, whatever. There's untouchable topics that, like, if you delve into that waters, you might want to watch out. Well, I don't freaking care, and I don't think Charlie Kirk cared, really. Right. Because I think, just me watching him, it's so funny. I didn't spend years watching Charlie Kirk, but in the last few months before he died, I actually had seen more of him. And this is thoughts I've had before he was assassinated, legitimately. I noticed it seemed like he was going through an internal struggle with what to talk about. Now, this isn't to try to propagate some theory. I'm just telling you what I noticed. The world and the news has been insane, right? Donald Trump, since he has become president again, it's been pretty dang rapid fire, as you would expect. Well, Charlie Kirk is an ardent Trump supporter. I mean, I think he would even have called himself a loyalist, which, doesn't mean he could never disagree with him, but I think he tried, he knew Donald Trump personally and allied himself with him and supported him. I mean, that's where he stood politically. And I noticed that when certain things happened in the news, he would be one of the many commentators. And I guess the first thing would have been the Israeli-Iran conflict and then the U.S. getting involved. And Charlie, I watched him on his program talk about the need for the U.S. to be cautious about getting involved in that and maybe backing away, not getting directly militarily involved with Iran and taking offensive action on the behest of Israel, because he generally took an anti-interventionist stance when it comes to foreign policy. I mean, that's my stance, right? But Charlie Kirk was obviously a big supporter of Israel. Charlie Kirk was a Christian and he supported Israel. What does that mean, supported Israel? Well, I mean, that's always difficult to define. He would have, I think, said, I feel like it's important for the U.S. to support Israel, meaning the Jewish people, from the command of the Bible, but also just the government itself being an ally with the United States to maintain that relationship. And so those, he was seemingly holding those two views simultaneously. Well, after some time had passed and he seemed to criticize the idea of the U.S. getting involved with Iran and taking offensive action, the U.S. did it. And they bombed the bunkers. And Charlie then went on to his program and essentially said that, that was good, that he had talked with people in the Trump administration and had understood things differently and kind of changed his tune on that seemingly, and supported that action with new information that he had received and agreed with it. Okay, you fast forward to the old Epstein thing blowing up again, right? That was in the news heavy. Now it's not. Well, the Epstein thing is clearly has connections to the Israeli government, has connections to the Mossad, right, and other intelligence agencies in Israel. They were working with Jeffrey Epstein. It's clearly, it is abundantly clear that him and Ghislaine Maxwell and her father, Robert Maxwell, were working with the Israeli government, right? Well, Charlie Kirk acknowledged that, to my knowledge, and was, as most sane people, calling for the release of every bit of information related to the Jeffrey Epstein files and the case, right? Well, Donald Trump quit liking that after about a week and told everybody to shut up. Why are you worried about this?
I remember that.
This is in the past. Well, presumably a conversation with somebody took place and Charlie Kirk was just like, well, maybe we should table this discussion and focus on other things for a while and come back to this later. I mean, that is close to a quote. He didn't say it didn't matter, but he said, maybe we need to let more things come out about this and more investigation and return to it later. So fast forward, not much longer into the future, he he is assassinated. And then it is revealed, not a guess, not. Oh, I mean, I guess this could be put out as a deep psychological false information operation, but this isn't a theory on the internet. This is what happened. Bill Ackman, he is a hedge fund manager. He is worth $9 billion. He's deeply involved in the Trump administration. Had aides close to Charlie Kirk said, had a meeting with Charlie Kirk weeks ago. And he's Jewish, Bill Ackman, and staunch supporter of Israel, and offered, Bill Ackman was connected with this. It is reported that the funds with the Israeli government in mind at the benefit of Israel, offered Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA $150 million. $150 million to do what? That's what we don't know. Presumably talk nice about Israel, which he already did. He's already a supporter. But you would assume to not continue to question things like he had been doing. Charlie seemed to be having honest questions about things and questioning or wanting the release of the Epstein files, which may look bad against people, even the people that he supported, right?
Did TPUSA take that donation?
They did not.
They rejected it.
Charlie Kirk rejected it.
Huh.
He actually said, no, I will not do that. Which, if that's true, right, that he was offered $150 million to, as kind of a favor to maybe say certain things, and he denied it, that ought to tell you something about Charlie Kirk. Just saying. $150 million might go a long way. It's said that the budget of Turning Point USA is about $140 million, so you'd over double it overnight.
Yeah.
Anyway, it had been said that, I think people close to Charlie Kirk had said that had been happening, and he was extremely stressed. Once again, I want to theorize as little as possible. He was going on a string of podcasts leading up to his assassination, many big podcasts, and I watched some of them. And he was openly expressing that he is really stressed right now. It was very crazy. And he feels the burden of the weight of this moment and this political climate, and is being pulled in different directions. I mean, that is like literally what he said. And then later on, you see that he is assassinated, and then in the immediate response, they look for the killer, and there appears to be, at first, they grabbed the wrong guy. It was an older gentleman that was at the event. They realize it's not him. They go on more of a investigation. They're looking for leads and tips. Bill Ackman, there he is again, offers $1 million. I don't want to get the quote wrong. Somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million as a reward for any information that would be surrounding, that could be surrounded to the suspect. Why did he do that? That's just odd. I mean, that's odd. They get the guy with the help of his dad and his, I believe, transgender roommate. They find text messages on his phone in an investigation that say to his roommate that he had recently got the opportunity to assassinate Charlie Kirk. That's a strange text message to send. Strange.
Huh.
He had gotten the opportunity. I don't know what that means. That doesn't prove or mean anything. It's just a very strange way of putting it. And here's another thing, man. All the investigation that you're seeing Kash Patel and the Trump administration do you really think that they're giving you everything that they have? Do you really think that if the Trump administration, or the Biden administration, by the way, I don't care who's doing it, is investigating a political assassination like this, and they find information behind the scenes through recovered text messages, that they're going to give you all of them? Do you think that if they received text messages that were encrypted that he had sent to somebody working at the behest of Israel or some foreign government or any foreign government, whoever it was, any connection that he had, anybody that had him do this, basically, if the guy didn't act alone and he did have some connection to somebody else who wanted Charlie Kirk dead, do you think they would give that to you? Really? Because let me tell you why they wouldn't. Because it's a lot better for the United States government and any administration for the public to believe that just a lone nut killed somebody. That's a lot better. It's a lot better than if they personally had someone involved or if another foreign government that they are allied with was involved. They don't really want the public to know that. That might cause some problems if everyone knew that, right? So they'll conduct an investigation and they'll show you things. They'll show text like the one I just read. But they're not going to give you everything. And I'm sorry if you believe that Kash Patel and anybody in the Trump administration or any Biden administration, whoever's currently in power is going to give you everything from an investigation. You just don't know how it works. And I personally could be wrong, but I do not trust even the Trump administration to give everything that they have. So this was a long aside that I struggled with even bringing any of that up, but I did it anyway. So
no, Chili is so. Let me tell you. Before you talked about all that and kind of walked us through that, my perspective was, look, not everything's a conspiracy.
No, it definitely
right?
is not.
So that's my
Correct.
that's usually what I go to.
Yep.
I think many times we've gotten carried away.
Yep.
With this, like there are people in
Agreed.
the world who are indeed evil enough to want to take someone's life
Agreed.
because of their own personal reasons, and that has been my perspective on this whole situation. Here's just a person who was consumed by evil as an individual and goes and does this thing. And that could be still the case.
It absolutely could be.
But the things that you just discussed definitely do make you think, especially a text message like I've just gotten the opportunity to assassinate Charlie Kirk, that there is the potential that there was a third party involved in enabling this to happen.
Yeah, because what all this radicalization talk that we talk about, that the politicians feed into and the media feeds into and radicalizes people, this language, man, this incendiary rhetoric, like you're Hitler and Charlie Kirk is a hateful bigot. He hates you.
Yep.
He hates you. That means he wants you dead. That's what that means. And sometimes they'll go as far to say as he wants you dead. Yeah. But even the less incendiary rhetoric, like he hates you. He is a hateful, racist, sexist bigot. Over and over and over again about a guy like Charlie Kirk who's having a conversation about political topics and Christianity on college campuses because he ran a nonprofit that was trying to combat the programming that is happening in the education system, namely the college system in America, and other politicians, whoever. It wasn't just Charlie Kirk, obviously. It's very broad. That is to radicalize people. That is in the hopes that people will do things on their own accord that are radical.
Well, that
cause chaos.
That was another point that I wanted to make. When you think about this, it doesn't even necessarily have to mean that there was in this case, there could have been some sort of one-on-one contact between this individual who assassinated Charlie Kirk and, some government agency. But that doesn't even have to be the case.
It doesn't.
They know what they're doing when they use language like that.
Exactly. I mean, that is the thing, is this whole thing is being and can be accomplished just by influencing and infecting the minds of young people through social media. I mean, that is the conduit, and it is working. Because if you don't think it's working, and you don't think, well, no one would really do that on their own. No one could or would kill on their own. Well, here's the thing. Do you know how many people celebrated Charlie Kirk's death? How many people said that was a good thing? Dang, I wish I could have done it.
Apparently, it was a lot.
Because of the millions of people that are being radicalized, and it's working. So say you did want to get involved, and actually there was a third party involved who wanted to get. Just pick from your minions on social media who you can watch and study, and who parrot your rhetoric over and over again. You think it'd be hard if you wanted to get involved, if you're a government agency, to go contact a kid like that and say, "We'll help you do this.
Yeah. Will
you kill him?" Yep, sure will. Yeah. Not difficult. So it accomplishes it twofold. It makes that job of
individual influence or contact,
easy, and it makes it possible without even the need of it. So I'm not trying to say that there was somebody behind the assassin of Charlie Kirk. I'm saying there might have been, and I don't want to spout off all these theories, and it almost even just feels disrespectful to talk about it. But here's the thing: I'm not going to be afraid of any government agency, whether it's the U.S. or the Israel, to question their motives or that they're potentially behind something. Because guess what? They have been a lot in the past, as proven as you can prove anything. Do you think they've stopped now? That goes for our government, Israel, the UK, whoever. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, no, that's good, Chill. That's good. I mean, irregardless of all of that, I think the conclusion that the Christian has to land on is this is the good versus evil. Like that's the conclusion. Like whether government was involved, whether it was an individual, no matter what it was,
doesn't matter.
It is this battle that is being waged among us now in all aspects of this reality. That's what it is.
And how do you combat that evil? And that's kind of where I land on this, like in the discussion we had, Corn, is how do you combat that evil? Well, you speak the truth.
Yeah.
And you don't, and that doesn't mean speaking theories that you think are true, but it means when you do know that something is true, like calling this out for evil, or when information does come to light, but you're afraid to say it because there might be consequences to saying it, you speak it anyway. I feel strongly about that.
Let me ask you, how do you want to live? Do you think that if you are you're allowed to keep living if you do and say certain things, is that really living?
No.
Like, is that what you consider life? Really? But people have succumbed to that for eons.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
I also want to say something about these pop-up people that pop up on social media that have already been famous, but all of a sudden they're popping up with all these opinions as it pertains to the Bible and Christianity and good versus evil. And Dad made a mention at lunch about this Candace Owens lady that she's just all of a sudden I know that she was famous before, but she's all of a sudden come on the scene with all these opinions about Christianity and all this. And there's many more out there. I want to say something about these people that pop up with opinions and want to share their voice as it pertains to Scripture and faith and all this stuff. I want to tell you that when these people pop up, you need to understand you should not listen to them. I want to tell you that before you are qualified to have any legitimate opinion or say-so about anything as it pertains to Scripture or faith or any of that stuff, it takes years upon years upon years of the sanctifying work of the Holy Spirit and communion and fellowship with brothers and sisters to help you along. You think because you accept Christ the next day, you're able to go out and be some sort of authority as it pertains to Scripture. No, you are not. You need to be careful of who you're listening to and people that have opinions as it pertains to spiritual things. I don't care. Anybody can say whatever they want to say about what's happening in the world. You need to be careful about these people that you're listening to because they're popping up left and right, man. And they're spewing out a bunch of crap that is completely contrary to what is told to us in the Scriptures and what has been foundationally determined and understood by men and women of God over the course of centuries.
Well, I think you should be leery of anybody who's claiming to be the authority or acting as the authority.
I agree.
Whether they've been a Christian for 5 seconds or 70 years, that is a problem.
I agree. I think it's ultra dangerous to all of a sudden this person pops on the scene with all these opinions about faith and spirituality and Scripture. Like that's like red flag. Like
Yeah.
like no. Well, you need to keep your thoughts on those things to yourself and give it about a decade.
Well, people accept that information from any Tom, Dick, or Harry on any reel that they scroll through and say, "Oh, that's cool." That's through numerous conversations since the assassination of Charlie Kirk's happened. The main topic is this that I've heard from friends and family is this is different. This feels different. So I thought, well, how is this different? So I thought in my lifetime, what were the horrific events or shocking events that I seen, and comparatively so to what happened? Well, when I was a kid, I remember watching the TV when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. Though it wasn't an assassination, that was the first real big one that I saw. Holy smokes, this space shuttle with this teacher on it and these other people exploded in a horrific accident caused by NASA. And I said, well, why was that not different? Well, the only information that you received from that, the day of, the day after, until magazines and or newspapers could be printed on the subject, was the news. And at that time, in the early 80s, the news was nothing like it was now. They didn't tell you how to feel. They didn't tell you how you should feel. They didn't tell you that there was some maniacal right-wing scientist at NASA that made a great big mistake. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And then the next thing, of course, was 9/11. We all know what happened at 9/11. I sat there, I watched the second plane hit, seen the second tower and Tower 7 come down, and I thought, well, what was so different about that? Though we did have the internet back then, we did not have the massive social media influence. So the information we got was the same as the Challenger. It was the news. And the news around that time was just starting to be a little goofy, but it was nowhere near what it was now. It wasn't telling you how, you know, the biggest thing that you got around that time of, like the news never went against a president until Katrina. When Hurricane Katrina come, that's when the news was like hardcore. Oh, George Bush should have done more and downing the president and stuff. So that wasn't even a real big thing until Katrina. So, and then now, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, it is different because you can pick up your phone and you can see your opposition that thinks completely different than you and opposes you, like Blake was saying earlier, and tell you how much you're just a much piece of crap as what they believe Charlie Kirk for being. But also, You can find like-minded people telling you that you're not being compassionate enough because you're not as articulate or in the Word or know the Scripture as much as me, and you should be thinking this way. You're trying to pile more compassion from everyone else around you because you don't have compassion enough. You don't know you're doing that, but that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're trying to gain all this intel and all this information to add to how you feel. Well, dude, it's perfectly fine if you are in the body of Christ to feel exactly the horror that you know you felt when you see it and then it happened. I don't have to have Jocko's opinion about it. I don't have to have anyone else's opinion about it. I can turn my phone off, get in the Bible, be around my friends, and that can be my opinion about it. So it is different. This social media, dude, is freaking ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Everybody has opinion on everything.
And you can't even have a conversation about anything without having to discuss how social media affects it. It is in everything. It affects everything because we choose to I get on it. I'm you know what I mean?
We can't wield it.
I agree.
Mankind can't wield it in our fallen state. Social media itself is not evil.
Yeah.
If we were perfect people, there would be nothing evil about it.
Yeah.
It's a way to share information.
Well, it's a technology resulted of the fall. Maybe it does have some sort of innate evil quality to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've thought about that.
We cannot wield it.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about the people that are pop up and they, start to say their opinion and things on Scripture. And in James, this is talking about asking God for wisdom, but it applies. It says, "Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything that they do." And we think, as Christians, okay, well, that's talking about us as Christians. We don't need to be swayed by the world. But on the flip side, it is a worldly person who sees an opportunity to use Christianity, to use Jesus as a tool to enhance their audience, to get in on everything that's going on. And they also, we should see, are double-minded. As Christians, we should not say, that person for a long time was really talking about worldly things that were going on. They had, opinions that were different, but now they're good because all they are is double-minded. One day they're over here, and the next day they're using the gospel. Just like us we should be consistent. When you go meet with somebody, see somebody, barring bad days and the exception, you should know what to expect. If I come ask anybody here, what do you think about this? I generally know how they're going to act. I know how they're going to respond. I know kind of where they're going to stand. But there are people that you go to and you don't really know what you're going to get. You say, well, the other day they was talking about this. Today I wonder really what's going on in their mind. And those people are double-minded, and they're tossed around like the waves, constantly troubled. Everything that comes along sways their mind and their opinion, and they're just going to use what they will in order to enhance it for themselves. That's what I think about people that are out using that. It's clear. Christians see it, and they'll think, oh, Candace Owens, what? I never knew she was a Christian. Look at all. I don't know the lady, but I suppose I never knew that she had all these. It's because she don't. It's because she's just a tool.
Yeah.
She's just using it as a tool.
Yeah, man. Like, I have no ability to pass judgment on whether someone's saved or not, who's really a Christian.
Yeah, I don't want to get in the business of doing that.
I have no litmus test. What I do want to, but what I do want to tell you is Scripture is clear that the way is narrow. The true church is a remnant. It's not all of these people who pop up out of nowhere who are all of a sudden the saints of God with all of this knowledge and authority. The way is narrow. Not many ought to be teachers. Okay? We got many teachers out here. I don't ever want to interpret Scripture based off of my experiences, but when my experience aligns with what Scripture says, then I want to share with you what my experience has been. I've been serving the Lord adamantly and seeking the Lord adamantly for over a decade, and I am still a baby in Christ. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, I'm saved. I'm confident that I'm saved. But I'm a baby. We talked about this morning. Somebody said, well, you ought to start preaching or start a congregation. Look, no, I am not qualified to pastor a congregation. Negative. I'm over a decade in.
10-year-old.
So I'm trying to tell you guys, man. Look, man, if you're angry, you're afraid, whatever it is you're experiencing about this, you're all upset, you're trying to figure it out. Look, man, here's what I'm going to go ahead and tell you. All this is going to wax worse and worse. Cling to the gospel, okay? Either you're going to be dead soon, or the Almighty's going to come back and make all things new. You ain't fixing it. Cling to the gospel. Preach the gospel. The gospel. Okay? Root out sin that exists in your own life. Hate sin that exists in your own life. Lead your family and your loved ones with a sacrificial love. Love the Father. Everything you do, do it out of your love and desire to please the Father. Love the people around you. Stop trying to predict when the rapture's going to come. You idiot. Good night. People are sending me DMs, direct messages. What do you think about the tribulation's going to start on the 27th of September?
The 27th?
But well, yeah, all of these false teachers that we've just been discussing right here, they're taking this opportunity to come up with some calculations. The rapture's on this day, this year. The tribulation begins here, begins there. Are you not reading your Bible? You have one job. Well,
I do want to point out all the predictions. You know, a lot of times when they see a good prediction that catches a little steam, like maybe September 27th, I don't know. It frightens people, even people who are generally resistant to that and don't agree with that. It kind of just stirs up fear in people. To ease your mind, for the last few thousand years, every single day in history has been a prediction of somebody.
yeah.
I mean, I promise you, like there was a time where a few of these heads, like Nostradamus, you know, all these guys, they even said it's going to be between September 27th of 2025 and August 13th of 2375, and I'm pretty sure about that because it all lines up. It's going to be in there. It's well, you can cover your bases pretty well. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't, like you said, I don't know what the pitfall is between trying to predict that day whenever, if anything's clear, it is that no man knows and will not know and cannot know. So
That is very clear.
Very. Very.
I mean,
it's also just logically clear.
It's gonna happen sometime between now and when he comes back.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet you that.
Good night, man. I'll tell you what, man. Anybody that wants to defend the state of mankind,
Tell you what, August 9th, 2355 gonna be rough.
My
Tribulation is gonna be rough.
tribulation gonna be rough, ain't it? Well, I'm glad we had that talk today. Felt like it was necessary. It'd be interesting to see what all continues to happen. But hey, we're people of hope because of the finished work of the cross, because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and the faith that we've been given to be able to believe upon him, because of the grace of the Almighty. Whatever comes, so be it. Enough said.